The year is 1600. A small group of London merchants gathers to form a joint stock company. Their goal? Spices, trade, and profit. They called themselves the East India Company. For their first century, they were nothing more than a marginal player, building small trading posts or factories in places like Surat and Madras, under the watchful eyes of the mighty Mughal Empire. The Mughals saw them as just one more set of supplicants, valuable for their silver and their niche goods. The company's ambition was strictly commercial. They sought cotton, silk, saltpeter, and tea. But buried within their royal charter lay a dangerous clause, the right to wage war. The balance of power shifted dramatically after the death of the last great Mughal emperor, Aurangzeb, in 1707. The empire fractured. Provincial governors, the Nawabs of Bengal, Awadh, and Hyderabad, declared independence. This was the Anarchy. As political authority evaporated, the East India Company saw not chaos, but opportunity. They stopped paying taxes, began bribing local officials, and quietly started fortifying their trading posts. They recognized the core weakness of the decentralized powers, their constant infighting. The company's agents were no longer polite merchants. They were becoming mercenaries, using their small private army to protect their assets and, more crucially, to rent out to local rulers, earning both money and political influence. The showdown came in 1757, in the rice fields of Bengal. The ambitious Nawab, Suraj-ud-Dawla, had become alarmed by the company's growing military presence and seized their factory at Calcutta. The company's response was led by the ruthless and brilliant Robert Clive. What followed was not a battle, but a betrayal. Clive engineered a secret deal with the Nawab's commander-in-chief, Mir Jafar. At Plassey, Mir Jafar held his troops back. The Nawab's army, vastly superior in size, disintegrated. In a single afternoon, the East India Company achieved the unthinkable. They didn't just defeat a ruler, they installed a puppet ruler in Bengal. They gained control of the wealthiest province in India, and crucially, the right to collect its immense tax revenues. The transformation was complete. A corporation had become a kingmaker. After securing the Diwani, the right to collect revenue, in 1765, the company's focus shifted entirely to plunder. This era became characterized by ruthless taxation. Land revenues were hiked, often by 50% or more, crushing the peasantry. This insatiable pursuit of profit led directly to one of history's great humanitarian disasters, the Bengal Famine of 1770. Driven by drought and compounded by the company's refusal to halt grain taxes or release stored reserves, millions died. Back in London, the company's officials, known as nabobs, returned home fabulously wealthy, buying political influence. The company's private army, funded by Indian taxes, was now the largest and most powerful force in the subcontinent. Through a relentless series of wars against the Marathas and Mysore, the EIC eliminated all rivals. By the early 1800s, the East India Company had achieved what no previous empire had. It controlled India, a territory stretching from the Himalayas to the Indian Ocean. But its masters were not crowned heads, but shareholders in London. The company commanded an army of over 200,000 men. It minted its own money. It dictated laws, tariffs, and justice. It ruled a subcontinent with a population many times that of Britain itself. The anarchy had ended, replaced not by a new Indian power, but a ruthless, pioneering, and relentless new sovereign. A corporation that proved that commercial greed, backed by military force, was the most effective engine of empire the world had ever known.